that. In a moment, we'll break up into two groups, and we'll first of all, we might talk a little bit about this business of initiating with the pelvis and how that can flow through you. But we'll also, any burning questions that you have or things you'd really like to ask about, whether it's things you've been doing in the room or some things that you've been thinking about outside the room, we'll open it up for that for a little while. So those two things. But for the moment, there's a metaphor that Feldenkrais gives for our what you call our layers of habits. And you can think of layers of habits like sedimentary, sedimentary deposits, it goes back in time. So he says it's a little bit like, I won't use computers, but it's a little bit like electric lights. These days we're used to electric lights. We just flip the switch, they go on. Hopefully we'll get to a place where they're all powered by solar. That'll be the case. But we flick the switch and they go on. But when there's a power outage, where do you go? You go to the drawer, you get a candle. Right? And you go, please, please let there be power. That's great. Well, you go to the pub and I go to the drawer going, is there a candle? Because I want to read my book, remember? I want to read my book. Now, in history, before there was candles, there was the oil, and then there was the wick coming out of the oil. And before that, there was fire. So you can see then the history of humanity, it goes from electric light to candles to oil to fire to moonlight, daylight. Daylight, thank you. That's the most obvious, isn't it? So we're assuming it's nighttime. Now, the same thing with your habits. The most recently learned habit is right there on the surface. Yeah, it's just very delicate, ready to be extinguished at any moment that a new circumstance arises. So where do you go then? You go to the next habit below, the older habit. And if another set of circumstances arises, you then go to the habit before that. So literally, there's this regress to older and older and older habits. And he makes the analogy of when you are totally incapacitated, when you're at your most painful, where do you go? You go to lie down. You go to lie down in bed. Yeah. So what is it about lying down that's important? That's a rhetorical question. It takes you back where you don't have to deal with anything. You don't have to deal with gravity. You don't have to deal with other people. You don't have to deal with lights. And your body is in a place of just self-maintenance and recuperation. Yeah, because, unless there's a major disease going on, we have a homeostatic system that is constantly regenerating. And if you give yourself the opportunity to regenerate, we regenerate. But if you keep on taking away time and circumstances, you don't regenerate. Now, this is just to let you know that the newest habits that you're learning are the most fragile. They are quickly disrupted by new circumstances. Yeah. So know that, because it takes a while to set that new habit into place so that it's on equal footing with the older habits. So that's his story about light and how we go for older and older things on changing circumstances. Yeah. In that lesson that I just taught, he teaches it at Hamhurst, but right in the middle of the lesson, he delivers this particular phrase that I think is pretty important. And I didn't want to quote it in the lesson because you're in a different headspace. And I didn't want to go subliminal. No, I didn't want to do that. I really wanted to bring it to the fore. And when you have the opportunity to read these lessons or listen to these lessons, very often he'll sneak these. Is it sneaking? No. He says that as they occur to his mind. And they're really important. But they're kind of just like in the milieu of everything. So this is it. He says, We are not interested in the movement itself, but in the quality of mobilization. That is, the strategy, the tactics of organizing oneself for action. Whether it's this particular movement or that particular movement is of no significance. In lessons, we constantly change the movements to show that the movement itself is unimportant. It's the way we organize ourselves to do any movement that's important. Now, I've just paraphrased that a little bit by putting ideas there so that it sits as a complete idea, but that's what he has to say. So harken back to the talk yesterday about directing yourself, and then think that there is also a way of organizing yourself to move where anything, any movement is affected by that.
Thank you. Becoming aware of some things that are, that you normally are limiting, or
That's right.
bits of your body that you can't speak to, or something. I don't know.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So having said that, I think now would be a good time to just, Jenny, to lead half a group, half of you need to lead the other half, and we can have a discussion about that, any burning questions, and of course, this organization of the pelvis. Okay? All right. And it's now 11 o'clock. What do you reckon? 20 minutes? Half an hour? What would you prefer? 20 minutes it is. Okay, so we'll go for 20 minutes.